The draft has wrapped up, and while I could spend all day talking about my thoughts on every team, I wanted to discuss the one organization that truly hit it big this year, that being the Indianapolis Colts. To sum it up, they were bold, got massive steals down the board, and filled some major gaps that the team had. I'm going to attempt to be as brief as possible about this and skim over some of their late round picks for the sake of brevity, but hopefully you can still come away realizing why the Colts look so much better than their 2022 counterpart. Let's start with their first pick, Anthony Richardson. If you care enough to click on a video about the NFL draft, you already know the guy, and we've already talked about him on the channel before in our top 5 QBs video, so I'll try to keep this brief. He's a beast, a generational athlete, freakish arm, elite frame, and the only red flag being inexperience that breeds lazy pocket presence and footwork. Look, if you're the Colts who have been stuck in a revolving door of veteran quarterbacks since Luck retired, this is the kind of statement pick I love. Just give him some time to develop behind Shane Steichen, and he can become a quarterback that carries your team on his back. In the second round, the Colts fill another hole with Stephon Gilmore now being a Cowboy, cornerback. They pick yet another athletic freak in Kansas State's Julius Brents. With a 9.99 out of 10 RAS score, it's clear that the man is an absolute beast. Boasting an 11-foot broad jump, 41.5-inch vertical, and standing at a towering 6'2", he can make plays anywhere you need him to. And did I mention his 34.5-inch arms? Whether it's blowing up runs, shutting down routes to the line, or using his explosiveness to break up plays at the catch point, Brents has you covered. And while he does struggle a bit with missteps and sticking with more intricate routes, he's every defensive coordinator's dream with his size, mentality, and athleticism. Following Brents, the Colts draft an absolute steal in the third round, North Carolina's Josh Downs. After posting insane numbers in the slot over the last 2 years with the Tar Heels, many thought he would be gone as early as pick 25 with the Giants, but he slipped into the third round and Indy pounced. While there may be concerns over his frame, being 5'9 and 170, he doesn't play like it. He has a 75.2% success rate versus man and a 93.8% contested catch rate, which are both best in the class. Obviously he's going to struggle if he can't get off the line and press, and he's a non-factor in run blocking, but he's a shifty guy with quick feet and will more than fill the hole in the receiver core left by Paris Campbell. And now comes Chris Ballard's first round of multiple picks. Continuing with his obsession of drafting literal athletic specimens, the Colts call up Adi Tamiwa Adibare and Blake Freeland. Beginning with the latter, the BYU tackle has an insane 37-inch vertical while weighing 302 pounds. He's also got some massive arms, but most of his issues stem from him not having enough muscle. He can get blown up in the run game, and he needs some massive refinement of his technique in order to compensate for his current weakness in his build. But if you're looking for a high upside player at a position that you desperately need help in, there might be nobody in this class better than Freeland. Next to get called up was the defensive tackle/end, Adibare. In an increasingly positionless game, the tweener will find himself making an immediate impact. He's explosive and consistently molds blocks into his favor, either finding lanes to the quarterback or shutting down run plays before they even have a chance to exist. The flaws with him are obvious though, and it's all based on his style as a tweener. He doesn't really fit the profile of an edge or a defensive tackle, lacking size and length, and his hips aren't as fluid as you would hope for someone attacking the edge, but he just has so much upside, and grabbing him in the fourth is a more than worthy selection. As for the rest of the picks, for the sake of time I'm not going to dive into them too much, but I'd like to point out the DB's Darius Rush, a great prospect overshadowed by Cam Smith that was good value for a round 5 selection, and Jalen Jones out of Texas A&M that is an absolute steal in the 7th round. Based on Ballard's tendency to pick the best athlete possible, I'm surprised Zach Kuntz didn't end up being a Colt either, but you can only ask for so much out of a front office. Overall, the Colts just wrapped up a draft that can define their team for the next decade, and Chris Ballard and company proved to the rest of the league that Howie may no longer be the top dog, although that may take another episode to dive into.
Pierre Garçon was a 6th round pick.
Collie was the 4th round.
Indianapolis Colts know how to draft.